Hi, everybody, and welcome to Carrigan Company. I'm looking at this. Wow, this is episode 67, which is hard to believe. Yeah, we started this in February of 24. So, wow, here we are, episode 67, and I am happy to announce that I have a repeat co-host today. It's my very first one in 67 episodes, and this woman certainly deserves to be my first repeat. She is my dear friend, and she's someone all of you know. Sue Tabb from, of course, Morning Magic on 106.7 is with me. It's good to see you.
Hi.
Congratulations, you're the first one.
I know. I feel like Saturday Night Live when they have the five and they get sweatshirts.
I know.
So I got something to look forward to.
I hadn't even thought about that. That's what we need to do. Dave, my producer, we got to give out gifts to people who, hit a certain amount. I love that idea. How you doing?
I'm doing really well.
Good.
Little jet lagged. Yeah. I just came back from a trip from Ireland with my dad and my brother, and so we just got back this weekend. So I'm still a little bit like catching up on.
Yeah, we are recording this on Tuesday, so you're just fresh off the tip.
Fresh
so
off. Yeah,
that is a lot.
It is.
Tell me about Ireland. You had a great time. I knew you were going, taking Dad.
Taken Dad. He's 85. His family's from Ireland. He was born here, but his parents were both born in Ireland, and he had never been. And I was determined we were going to get him there. And he's still fairly healthy. So my brother and I took him over. We did a tour of the entire, southern part of the country, from, Dublin to Cork to Waterford, the Cliffs of Moher. We did everything. It was a breakneck pace, but he rallied like you cannot believe. It was the trip of a lifetime. But the highlight, Kim, was he's from a little seaside town in Cork called Cove, and we found his dad's childhood home.
I saw pictures of this, and I have to tell you, I teared up. He's standing in front of the numbers on the house.
Pointing.
And it's just, that is amazing.
It was amazing.
How did he know that's where it was, Sue?
We have relatives that had kept track, and so they told us where it was. And then he was an altar boy at this giant cathedral in the same town that overlooks the water. It's beautiful. It's a massive cathedral called St. Coleman's Church, and we took pictures in front of that. We went into the cathedral, and it was just amazing. And my dad that was an emotional point.
Oh, I bet it was. I bet it was.
Yeah,
Did you know that grandfather?
I did. Oh. He was Bill Father, so his name was Bill, and he was our grandfather. And my sister, when we were young, dubbed him Bill Father, and he's been Bill Father. Everybody called him Bill Father till the day he passed away.
Oh, that's so great.
And so. Yes.
Yeah, so it was certainly an emotional experience for your dad, but it meant something for all of you.
It meant something for all of us.
Oh, yeah, that's
100%. To see that, to know your roots, to understand. And we didn't have one drop of rain. No. One whole week in Ireland, not one drop of rain.
Did you play the lottery thereafter?
No, it was a heat wave in Ireland. It was like 72 and sunny every day we were there. And all of the locals were like, what's happening? It rains every day here.
Right.
And of course, we brought umbrellas and rain gear and ponchos and all this stuff. Nothing, not a drop. Of course, now it's raining here all week.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You didn't need to go to Ireland for rain. You could just stay right here in Boston. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you had such a terrific trip. And I think it's just so great that you guys had thought about the idea of taking him and were able to accomplish it.
Yeah,
so
lifetime memory bucket list item.
You got it.
Whole thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Since I've seen you, well, not since I've seen you, since you've been on the show. You were on the show March of last year. A couple things have happened in your life. The book that you promised us then and said that it was going to come out in the summertime came out in the fall, actually.
It did.
And we're going to talk about the book here in just a second. But in addition, you and Kendra, who host the morning show.
Yep.
The two of you now are the only two women hosting a radio show here in Boston.
Yeah, a morning radio show in Boston. It's pretty crazy, but we're excited about it.
Absolutely.
Our listeners have embraced us, and we are really, really excited for sort of the next chapter of Morning Magic.
Yeah.
And we're kind of like, this is kind of cool that we're the only female-led show.
Absolutely.
Right?
It's very cool, and I congratulate both of you. I'm so proud of the two of you.
Thank you.
If there was going to be two women who would get that done, I'm not at all surprised that it's the two of you.
Yeah. Kendra's amazing, as you know, and she's, we've been sort of working together for 10 years, but in each other's, universe for 25 years.
Absolutely.
So we can finish each other's sentences, which is helpful.
You know what I think is so spectacular? I mean, I'm not surprised about you at all because you have played this sort of role for a long time. But Kendra sort of went from almost a behind-the-scenes role to taking on the role of being an on-air person. And boy, she has filled those shoes beautifully.
Yes.
So the show, listen to our listeners and to our watchers, if you don't listen to these ladies, be sure that you do over there on Magic, because they really do an excellent job and they're a lot of fun. I listen to you guys every morning as I'm coming back and forth from the gym. I catch you as you're going on the air, and then I catch you, after I get out of the gym. And invariably, I get into my garage and I close it down, and I have to stay just a little bit longer because you're talking about something that I relate to.
Yeah.
So I need to stay just a little longer to hear what you. And many times I'm talking to both of you, which makes me so angry that you're not responding, because I'm like, Sue, that is not true. You know that's not what you're doing.
No, and that's, our whole role is to, help people start their day on a positive note, and to, kind of just find the funny in life, the messy in life, the relatable things in life. We're all going, and there's so many other things that are stressful.
Absolutely.
That we're trying to be the relief from that.
Yeah.
And just kind of come and
let me tell
hang
you
with us.
that you serve that purpose for me. So I know that you're serving it for everyone. So it's really a lot of fun. Sue Tabb with me this morning, and I want to show you this, folks. This is Sue's book. I mean, Sue is a published author, my friends.
I know. It's weird to even hear those words.
It's amazing is what it is.
Thank you.
Stepped into the Twister, sister. It's Waking Oz. And the book, I've had the great opportunity not only to be at, really the launch of the book, but to read the book. And in fact, I've read it twice because I read it immediately after the launch. And then knowing that you were going to come back, I read it again.
Yes.
And I wanted to read it again for a couple reasons, because you're here, obviously. But I also wanted to read it because you have been kind enough to invite me to be part of an event that's coming up in June.
Yes.
Let's tell everybody about that before we talk about the book.
I'm so excited about this. So we are doing a book reading, signing, wine tasting at LaBelle Winery. And I believe you had Amy LaBelle on the podcast.
And I've been to the winery. Yes.
And we've also had her on Exceptional Women on Magic. And she is just a fabulous, her story alone is fabulous. But she has a winery in both Derry, New Hampshire and Amherst. We're going to be at the Derry location. And we're going to do a wine tasting and book reading on June 1st. It's a Sunday afternoon from 3 to 5. And what I tell everybody is this is like the perfect storm, because it's wine, it's, women in a room lifting each other up. It's a Q&A. You're going to facilitate a fireside chat with us. And it's a great opportunity, I think, for people to really just take a couple hours to themselves and figure out, what they want to do going forward with their lives, and we really encourage people to. It's also a great Mother's Day gift, by the way. If you want to give your mom an experience, it's a great way. And there's a restaurant right on site. So if you want to do 3 to 5 is when we're doing our author chat. But after that, if you want to eat, there's a tasting room, there's a restaurant, there's a marketplace.
It's so great.
It's a beautiful. I call it like a campus. It's not really just a winery.
You're right.
It's an experience. And so we were really happy when they were willing to partner with us and do this event.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that
so
people
excited.
will come and join, and you'll be there, and a lot of Magic listeners are coming. And there's book clubs. I just got a message today from a woman who said, I have a book club and we're going to come. We're going to buy tickets and come. And I was like, that's genius.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I love it.
Well, I'm very, very excited about it because a good book, Sue, and wine, and I'm there. So that wasn't a tough decision to make.
I know. We're excited that you're joining us.
Well,
it's going to be a
great.
fun event.
It's really great.
Is. Yeah.
Sue, this book. I think this book is probably targeted for an age group that's a tad younger than I am. But having said that, I relate to this book completely. I think it's, to me, it talks a lot about when you have the kids and you're trying to just do your thing and still be a good mother and be, good. And I lived through those years so many times. But now, as having adult children, I see that so much of this really still applies to Me.
Yes. And it's funny because we wrote this with the idea that it would really resonate with middle-aged moms.
Yep.
40s, 50s.
Right.
What we've been hearing is exactly what you're saying.
Yes.
Is that people even without children or older women are saying, you know what, this resonates because it's all about, finding your own unique version of Oz, and what my Oz is different than what your Oz is. And what we mean by Oz, and we use all of these analogies to the Wizard of Oz, is what speaks to your brain, your heart, your soul. And, as moms and as nurturers, women, a lot of times we put our needs last and our kids' needs first. And the problem is if you put a pause on your life for 18 or 20 years, and then the kids go off and they get jobs or get married or go to college, and you're left. And what we were hearing from women is that a lot of them struggled with who they were beyond that role of being a mom or a parent. Who am I beyond that? Mm-hmm. And so what this book is saying is we need to pay attention to it from early on.
Yes.
So that you don't get left with, like, you look in the mirror and you go, oh my God, what happened?
Right.
What happened to my life?
Right.
20 years have gone by and I don't know who I am anymore.
Right.
I don't know what I should be doing anymore. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to define myself. And so our book is a way to kind of wake people up, waking Oz, to the fact that you need to think about what it is, like, what do you want your legacy to be? Mm-hmm. What do you want your kids to say about you? Mm-hmm. And are you doing things in your life that reflect those values and who you are?
Right.
And so, that's our mindset when we wrote this book. And it just so happened that as we wrote it, the Oz movie came out and all of that
Wizard.
happened. And we were like, wow, this is perfect. But this was, years in the making.
Sure.
So it was a happy accident that happened.
It certainly was. I mean, it came out just, obviously as Wicked came out, which was so great. But what are people? I'm just so curious as to I was there as I said, for the launch, and I thought some of the comments in the room were fascinating. Mm-hmm. What's as you've moved through this journey and you've spoken to people who have read it, what are the takeaways? What are they saying? What's some of the most surprising things you've heard people say? Yeah,
I mean, a lot of people have told us, like, wow, I didn't even realize how much this would resonate with me. I didn't think it was for me. We had some college students at an event. We did an event for the North Shore Chamber. And we had college students that walked up to us and said, this was such a surprise. We love this book because anybody needs to read this before they even get into a partnership, a relationship, maybe think about having a family, to remember that your needs are important as anybody else in the family.
Right.
And you need to learn that early on. And so all the college students came up and bought the book when the event was over, and we never thought that was our audience.
Sure. I can understand that. And the feedback
we got was anybody who's ever going to date anybody, have anybody else in their life, they need this.
Absolutely.
Because they need to realize that it's an equal opportunity organization, and we all have our own goals and needs. And
absolutely, there are so many things that I could resonate, that resonated with me. And one of the chapters that you guys talk about is, during these crazy times of raising kids, and maybe you're a career woman at the same time, and but you're trying to give to everyone. It's keeping that original relationship together. With your spouse, and how to keep that relationship together, because for so many people, when the kids do leave, suddenly you look across the table and in the mirror and you're like, I don't know you and I don't know you.
Right. Because think about it, and a lot of times when your kids are young, even if you do go out to dinner, and you don't have your kids, you talk about your kids.
Absolutely, 100%.
And so, one of the things we talk about is you need to make your partner a priority. Everybody goes, oh, my kids come first. Nobody comes first. Your marriage has to be as important. And in fact, you're doing a disservice to your children if you don't show them
100%
that your marriage is a priority, because they need to see that, so that they know what a successful relationship looks like when they go out into the world, and they need to say, oh, my parents, and it's funny because we used to go on vacation without the kids since they were really little. Once a year, we'd go without the kids, and I'd have friends who were like, oh, how could you possibly do it? And we were like, how could you possibly not?
Right. It's it.
But, I remember one of the kids said to him, how come we're not invited? He said, because this is just about me and Mom.
Yep.
And it was really good for them to see that, because they need to understand that, as important as they are, we all love our children, that, the world does not revolve around just them, and that there are other relationships that are important, not just parent-child.
And you guys do a great job of conveying that idea. Priorities change hour by hour sometimes, just depending. In the book, you really do. It's an easy read. It's a great read. It's
you can
funny
read it in
and fun.
Hour and a half, maybe.
Yeah.
It's quick.
It's funny. It's clever. I mean, you guys just have done an outstanding job with
Thank
it.
you.
We're going to talk more about it, how people can get it, all that kind of thing, as we continue here. We've got some really great guests joining us today, and I'm very excited about it. And we're going to come back to Waking Oz, but right now we're trying to wake up the Celtics. Now, again, we are. This is Tuesday after the Celtics played the Knicks in the first game, round 2 of the playoffs, and we did not have a great showing last night.
No.
We're hoping as this playoff series progresses, it's going to get better.
No, we're going to get better.
But we're gonna here in just a second be joined by a woman who is making clothing that makes everybody feel good, and certainly she's in the spirit of the Celtics. And we're going to tell you all about her. She's got a great story to tell.
Yes, she
does. Mel the Clothing. That's the name of the line. And Mel's going to be with us here in just a few minutes. This is Carrigan and Company.